And here is another tip for gauge swatches. Sometimes you really should swatch in the round if the pattern you're making is in the round. And I know the pattern that we're making is in the round. You might decide to do a gauge swatch this way just for the fun of it. Doing an actual tube that will give you enough space to measure 4 inches worth of stitches across one side of the tube is kind of a pain in the neck. That's a lot of knitting. But you can do this approximation of knitting in the round by knitting flat and carrying the yarn across the back loosely. Loosely is important. You don't want it to distort your stitches too much, so you need to be aware of how tight the yarn is as you're pulling it across. But if you've knit across here and you can see the yarn is attached to the left-hand side of the work, I am just going to gently bring it over to the right-hand side. Whoops. I'm holding it, since I tend to hold the yarn in my left hand, I've just kind of snagged the yarn in my right hand with my middle finger, just so that it doesn't tighten up too much. And then I start knitting, and I can drop the yarn out of my right middle finger and just keep going. You can also, if you're someone who has holds the yarn in your right hand, you can do this just as easily. It might not be just as easily for me because I'm not accustomed to this. But in that case, I'm just going to kind of clamp down on the yarn with my left middle finger on top of my left index finger. Wrap the yarn. Let's see. In this instance, I actually inserted the needle first before I got started, and then wrap the yarn. And that I have avoided too tight a float in the back. This is a really good one for things like we're doing with the sweater, where you just need kind of a quick and dirty swatch that you're going to pull out as soon as you're done with it. Because your yarn is all connected together and it's completely usable. But that could be something that comes in handy in a certain situation, and it's a good thing to know about.